If you think Anthony Rendon or Alex Bregman is the best third baseman in baseball, you're crazy.
The Packers had the worst draft? Really? No love? Actually, it was someone else.
You might as well do the NBA draft lottery tomorrow because the regular season is done. On to the playoffs, baby.
It's Late Night Peel. Happy summer. New group. Let's go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Late Night Peel. We are back for the summer edition of the Late Night Peel, that is. So, alongside myself, we got Eli Lesser, Cam Azir, and Nick Delia. I'm Trey Redfield. So, it's gonna be a little different starting from now going into the next school year when we come back to SU as sophomores. The plan is basically it's going to be Eli, Cam, Nick, and myself. We are the 4 new co-hosts of the Late Night Peel. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited to not only just have Nick back, but have Eli and Cam here. So I got to start off. Eli, how's it feel? Cam, same for you. How's it feel to be new official hosts, simply?
Go ahead, Eli.
It is the highest honor anyone could ever be given.
Simply.
And, I want to be humble here, but all I could say, or quoting the words of Trey Redfield, I'm just blessed to be here.
It's blessed to be here. Cam, how about you?
It feels great. I mean, I've been on one episode before, and it was a lot of fun, so can't wait for a full summer edition.
Hey, and we got Nick. That's all we got. That's all we need. Nick.
Decked out in the colors. I see you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, so good to see you again, Nick. I mean, I just got to ask, how you doing, simply?
I'm doing well. It's been raining. It's going to snow tomorrow. We're feeling pretty good about things. Hoping not to get my sophomore slump getting on the Late Night Peel this year, but maybe if we turn it up a little bit, get some more talking in. I'm glad California boys here always. Yeah. And we got Trey with his 1,000 medals or banners, whatever the heck's behind it.
If you're watching the video version of this right now, we got ribbons behind me. It's a whole setup. But yeah, hey, all I could say is we're excited. I'm excited. What can I say? Let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with the most recent thing that happened before this was recorded, like officially, which is the NFL schedule officially was released on Thursday night. It was a lot that went down, a whole 3-hour show on ESPN. Just simply everything was put into play. Hopefully the games will actually be played, but just some things to point out before we get into our top 5 games. Each of us will be giving out our top 5 games. The Patriots are the ones that have the hardest schedule at I believe 538 strength of schedule. The Chargers, they have to have the easiest one. Cam, am I right on that?
I think you are. I mean, first game's up against the Bengals. We're not just facing a rookie quarterback, but we're facing a rookie quarterback in his first – well, obviously in his first year, but in his first game. Right, yeah, but in his first game, I mean, our pass attack – everything about the Chargers this year is something to be excited for. I'm interested to see what we do next season because – okay, Nick. I'm interested to see what we do next season. A lot of guys, their contracts are expiring, so I'm all in for this year, and our pass rush, our linebackers, cornerbacks, just I can't wait. And I know week 1 is going to be a fun week. It's going to be a fun week with when we're traveling to Joe Burrow country. So
it's Nick is asleep. I mean, it's going to be an exciting year. The Chargers, 8 of its first 10 games have teams that were not in the playoffs last year. So look, it's different at quarterback for the Chargers, but it's a great opportunity, especially with the new SoFi Stadium. But so with the schedule being released and everything, we wanted to get into each of our top 5 games. And I want to start off with Eli. We got to go with the new host first, right, Nick? Or are you going to allow it? Because I'm going to allow it.
I'm allowing it 110%.
110%. That's fine by me. Eli, give us your top 5. What do you got?
All right, so at number 5, I'm going Patriots at Rams, Week 14. Just a little rematch from arguably the most boring Super Bowl a couple years ago. Got to go with that one. At number 4, I have Tampa Bay at New Orleans, which would be Week 1, which is Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Brady's first game for the Buccaneers. That's going to be fun. Number 3, I have New Orleans at Las Vegas, Week 2. That will be the Raiders' first home game, so that's going to be exciting to see. My second game, I have Cincinnati at Dolphins, Burrow versus Tua. And then number 1, week 3, Chiefs at Ravens, AFC championship match. We'll wait and see.
That's what everyone wanted last year. Wasn't the case because there's some team that plays in Nashville, Tennessee that really ruined the party for that. But no, that's a very versatile list, I gotta say. You got number 1 overall picks. You got teams that came from all over. Look, the Bengals sucked last year, and so did the Dolphins. Like no one I think that's a burning take of a top 5 game, but I like it. I'm a fan of it. Cam, your top 5. What do you got, brother?
Well, first I want to mention the Titans. I don't have them on my top 5 games, but I think that is one team that they're either going to make strides or they're going to end up like the Jaguars were when they made it to the AFC Championship, and then it's like, where'd they go? My top 5, I'm going to start it at Bucs Saints week 1. I was tempted to put this one higher, but it's the first game between Brady and Breeze in that divisional series. This is actually the first time that 2 quarterbacks have met up with over 1,000 wins combined. It's 1,000 touchdowns thrown, 1,000 touchdowns thrown. It's 2 veteran quarterbacks going at it now. They're divisional rivals. I am going to enjoy those 2 matchups. At number 4, I'm going to go with Chiefs-Chargers, that week 2 matchup. Of course, I have that bias of being a Chargers fan, but the Chiefs always get the best of the Chargers early on in the season, and this could be the Chargers' breakout season, and it's going to start at the beginning. You've seen the Chargers the past couple of seasons, of course, 2 years ago having that success, but the Chargers started, 3 years ago? They started, the Chargers do not start well, and that's led to their demise. The only time they really had a good season was 2 years ago in the past 3-4 years. At number 3, I'm going to go with 49ers Saints week 10. Who can forget last year's matchup between the 49ers and the Saints in the Superdome? What was that, 48-46? Yes. An absolute shootout. Everyone remembered it. Garoppolo, Breeze. And there was a lot of talk around who's the best team in the NFC because of that matchup. I think that's why everyone wanted to see that matchup in the NFC Championship. Of course, was spoiled a little bit. Now, at number 2, I'm going to go with the Chiefs and the Ravens in week 3 because this was my AFC Championship. This was my creme de la creme game. I was so ready to watch Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, the 2018 MVP, the 2019 MVP. Like it was destined. And of course the Titans ruined that. And at number 1, this might be a surprise, all of week 17. I mean, like it might sound surprising, but last year, a lot of divisions were decided by week 17. Of course, the Seahawks and the Niners and then everything that was going on in the AFC South. Just pull up some matchups. Chargers, Chiefs, that could go down to the wire. I see Nick right there, big Broncos fan. Cowboys, Giants, it was decided by the last week. It was decided between obviously the Eagles and the Cowboys, but if the Cowboys didn't struggle down the stretch, the Eagles would have made the playoffs and the Eagles would have been bumped out. The Cardinals and the Rams. Cardinals just got DeAndre Hopkins. Raiders, Broncos, Seahawks, Niners. So many divisional matchups that could decide not just the division, but, playoffs and who gets number 1, 2, 3, 4. And, new playoff format. A 7-team gets in. So you could have seen 3 NFC West teams get into the playoffs. The Rams would have if this rule was in place then. So I can't wait for just all of week 17. But I got to calm down. We got to get there first.
Yeah, and one of those teams that would have made the playoffs last year if there was that same 17 format was the Denver Broncos. So Nick, I got to ask you, the Broncos fan himself, what is your top 5 for this year?
I do want to mention, I will get into my top 5, but first I want to acknowledge something Cam said about the divisional matchups at week 17. The Chargers and Chiefs will be playing each other for the second spot in the AFC West.
Oh, that's a good one. Also, Trey, I want to correct you. Trey, the Raiders would have gotten that last spot. The Raiders,
my bad. The Broncos were 8th, right?
Yes, I think so. Who cares? They're the Denver Broncos. Go ahead, Nick.
Okay. So number 5, I want to do my NFC Championship rematch, the Packers and 49ers. And I'm more focused on the Packers in this. Yes, the 49ers are the defending NFC champs, but the Packers, this is week 9. I want to see if Aaron Rodgers is still out there or if Jordan Love has come in and Aaron Rodgers has been moved. So I'm really interested to see how that matchup goes. At number 4, I got Cowboys Eagles, classic NFC East rivalry. Cowboys, the whole thing with Dak Prescott, Andy Dalton, I want to see what's going on with there. And the Eagles are such a big question this year. Carson Wentz will probably be injured by week 8, but still, that is just a classic rivalry I love to watch. At number 3, I had to put my boys in there. Week 1, Titans at Broncos. I want to see what the Broncos got against a team that went so far, made a huge run in the playoffs last year. Everyone's hyping the Broncos up. They got Jerry Jeudy now, KJ Hamler, just added Melvin Gordon to the running back duo with Philip Lindsay. I want to see if the Broncos are going to really be legit this year against the Titans especially. A good matchup to start off the year. At number 2, Texans-Chiefs. I mean, hopefully the Texans don't blow a 24-point lead this time. If it gets to that point, I think the Chiefs will obliterate the Texans this year after the offseason madness for Houston. Getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins, Bill O'Brien. I hope I never encounter him because we will have an exchange. I will question his coaching ability. And at number 1, Week 13, Chiefs versus Buccaneers. It's going to be late in the season. I want to see what the Buccaneers are doing going against the Super Bowl champions. Are the Buccaneers legit? Are they playoff contenders? Are they busts? If the NFL season happens, I am excited and ready for it.
All right, I believe the NFL season is definitely going to happen. I mean, come on now. It's going to be – there could be a second wave of this whole coronavirus thing, but you never know, and you want to stay optimistic. But for my top 5, I want to start with the first game of the season. Number 5 is going to be Texans at the Chiefs. I think one thing that really stands out to me is always that first game of the season. It just shows where that team is going to go when something like that happens. Like we saw it last year with the Bears. They only scored 3 points in the first game. They sucked. Like that just showed the whole way. That just showed the whole way of the season. I mean, same thing like with the Broncos and the Panthers. Like when they played, like who knows? Like the Broncos came really close to losing that game, and everyone was like, "This isn't really the same team. Like this is what we expected with Trevor Siemian." But I think it's kind of that same idea. I mean, last year we saw in the AC divisional round, it was an absolute shootout until the fourth quarter. Obviously, when the Chiefs blew it away. But yeah, Texans and Chiefs are my number 5. My number 4, I'm gonna have to go with probably the Chiefs and the Ravens. That's week 3. That was Eli's number 1. I just see a lot more interesting games ahead of the Chiefs and Ravens. It's too early in the season to put it that high. But yeah, I think one thing that really stands out to me is that this is a Monday Night Football game. So I like with Monday Night Football, that's never really the game of the week. You hardly ever see it come down to that. Like the last time we've seen it something like this was the Chiefs and the Rams in that shootout that we had. What was the final score of that? 57-51, correct?
51-48.
That's right. Yeah, something like that. A lot of points, simply. But yeah, that's going to be my number 4. My number 3 is going to be the Ravens at the Patriots on Sunday night. We saw this last year, and it didn't go well. It happened on the same night on primetime. Al Michaels was there. Just didn't go well. The Ravens, they beat the Patriots 37-20 last year. Just seeing a new face under center for New England is going to be really intriguing, just in the eyes of any fan, basically, whether you be a New England fan or whatever. But I think my number 2, my top, we're on number 2, right? Yes, number two. My bad. Number 2 is going to be a Christmas game, and it's going to be Vikings at the Saints on Christmas, a Friday NFL game. Friday in the NFL. Can you believe that? There's like no correlation in that. But hey, there's Christmas. You get the credibility. And why not with the Vikings and the Saints? And look, the Vikings have gotten some Christmas presents in the last 2 times these two played in the playoffs, especially. Kyle Rudolph getting away with that pass interference call in the corner of the end zone in the wild card round. The year before that, Stephon Diggs in the Minneapolis Miracle. Who knows? Maybe the Saints get the 3 times the charm fallacy or something like that. I mean, that's going to be an intriguing game, especially at the end of the season. And my number 1 is going to be the game that we saw last year that closed out the 100th regular season. That's going to be Seahawks 49ers. This time it's going to be in Santa Clara. So I just remember seeing how that went down last year. The Seahawks were literally a yard away from the division title. Who knows? Maybe the Seahawks will be a yard away again, and they lose in San Francisco this time. So that's my 5. Dang, there's just so many games. So many games that you guys brought up that I never even included in this. What are we thinking? What your favorite teams? Let's just get them out there. Eli's a Chargers fan. Cam's a Chargers fan. Nick's a Broncos fan. I'm a Patriots fan. Eli and Cam, what's the Chargers record going to be after this season?
16-0, baby. No.
Okay, Eli. Okay.
Come on now. Come on now.
Eli still pronounces it football. No.
I'm gonna go 9-7.
9-7. Okay.
Okay. I like that there's a 7th spot added to the playoffs because I feel like the Chargers are either almost there, in there, or one of the worst teams in the NFL. I'm going to go – I haven't looked at their schedule. I know that, the Jaguars are included in there. Obviously, the Patriots. We do play the Buccaneers. But I think I'm going to go around that area that Eli went, maybe just 10-6, not 9-7. I think we'll win a couple more games and be a couple games above 500, not just one game above 500. But, I mean, I just got to see Herbert. It all depends on what Herbert's going to do or if Taylor's our starting quarterback, because we have great pieces around our entire team, except the questions the quarterback. And any NFL franchise, you can ask anyone. If your question's the quarterback, that can be do or die. That could be 5-11 or that could be 12-4. You never know.
Yeah. Nick, your Broncos, they look really good this year. I mean, they just got Jerry Jeudy first overall. They have a pretty easy schedule as well. What are they going to go this season?
12-4.
12-4.
We'll lose both times to the Chiefs. We'll lose to the Saints, and we'll lose to the Buccaneers.
Okay.
The game to win.
All right. I guess we're gonna save the best for last, and this is going to be the most burning take that we get. And thank God I didn't say this at the start because everyone would have turned this off immediately. I think New England's going 12-4. I really do. I mean, when you put in the piece that Jarrett Stidham has improved throughout the entire season, even though he was the backup, I get it. But
water Tom Brady, what has he done?
I mean, hey, he hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't done anything. So what? Tom Brady didn't do anything when Drew Bledsoe got hurt, did he? Did he? No, he didn't. He didn't.
Can I read out? Do you mind, Trey? Do you mind me reading? So I think they beat the Dolphins to an experience, whatever. They're losing to the Seahawks in Seattle.
That's
okay, but I'm going to read out why they're going to have more than 4 losses. They play the Chiefs in Arrowhead. They welcome the Niners. They play the Bills in Buffalo. They go to Houston. They welcome the Baltimore Ravens. They travel to LA to play the Chargers. They travel to LA to play the Rams. They welcome the Bills. They even, if you want to make a case that the Broncos are going to be better than most people expect, they welcome the Broncos. That team, they do have a great defense, but again, questionable quarterback. That's why I can't highly predict the Chargers. It's the same with the Broncos, even though I think Drew Lock, just by his production last season, is much better than the rookie quarterbacks or the average quarterbacks. But you can't tell me, this guy's already a franchise guy. The same with the Patriots, same with the Chargers.
Oh, he's not a franchise guy. But, I mean, hey, you never –
12-4.
Come on. Matt Castle led the Patriots go 11-5. It's fine. I have no problem with it. If they go 12-4, 11-5, I don't care.
Wait, let me just look up on Wikipedia and see who Stidham is throwing to. No, I'm playing.
But no, I think either way, whether it be 12-4, which I think they're going to go, or 11-5, maybe even 10-6. They haven't done that since 2009. They're still going to win this division. I just don't think New England's going to lose in Buffalo. I mean, it's been too long since they have lost in Buffalo. So, but yeah, we've talked about a lot of new faces, and there are newer faces, especially after the NFL draft has concluded a week ago. We just want to recap real quick. Give the winners and the losers just rapid fire. I mean, it's pretty obvious who the winners and losers were, but Eli, let's see if a lot of people had the same winners and losers.
So I went with the Cowboys as my winner, drafting CeeDee Lamb at the 17th overall pick. I thought was great. He was the best wide receiver in the draft class, in a draft class that was full of great wide receiving talent. They also got Melvin Gallimore in the 3rd round. He is a great defensive lineman out of Oklahoma. I thought that was a steal. A lot of drafts had him projected to go a lot higher. So that was great. And then my loser, it's got to be the Packers. Come on.
100%.
They needed a wide receiver, or at least wide receiver depth. They didn't select one, and I mentioned how great this wide receiving class is. And then Jordan Love, I'm going to say certified bro moment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Cam, what about your winners and losers? I mean, come on, it's got to be the Packers, right?
I have 2 winners and 2 losers. I'll go as fast as possible, though. Yeah. Biggest winner is the Vikings because of Justin Jefferson. You get rid of Stephon Diggs, and you're still able – they don't blow it in the first round like a lot of teams did. And the Ravens did a great job picking up Patrick Queen in the first round. They needed an explosive linebacker. I think Patrick Queen should have went earlier, maybe even to the Chargers, who took Kenneth Murray. Now, biggest losers, I actually don't think it's the Packers. I'm not arguing with anyone who does think it's the Packers. The Giants are one of them. They didn't get one guy for Daniel Jones to throw to, and someone like Sterling Shepard isn't really going to carry a load in a division that's defense heavy. And then another loser for me is the why am I just completely blanking out on my second loser? Because this one was bad. I got the Philadelphia Eagles because I think that your draft is determined by your first 2 picks.
Yeah.
They pass up on better wide receivers to get a smaller Jalen Reagor, and then they pick up a backup quarterback after paying their guy $100 million. It's an easy decision.
I think that was the worst second-round pick since probably the Patriots taking Aaron Dobson, which was over Keenan Allen, which was over Travis Kelce as well. So, but Nick, your biggest winner, your biggest loser, I got a feeling who the winner is.
Yeah, obviously. The winner's the Denver Broncos. They just stacked up all over the place. Obviously, our first 2 picks were Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler. Hamler is a kick returner, a punt returner. He can go in the slot. He's ran a 4.2 40, and if that's true, 1, I want a video to see it, and 2, he's outrunning every corner in the league. And Jerry Jeudy is just a monster. He went to Alabama, first of all. He's a great route runner. He's got a great story with his sister passing away from a disease. I forget what the disease is on top of my head. But ever since then, he's had this necklace. He's actually had a Jewish star in his necklace.
Yeah.
Jew, even though he's Christian. So that's something interesting. But I think Jerry Jeudy's just a monster. The Broncos got a center in Lloyd Cushenberry from LSU. They also got a guard. I forget his name. They got a tight end who runs a 4.5. Michael Akwugbunam from Missouri.
That guy.
I'm a fan. So I think the Broncos easily won the draft here. And my loser is the Los Angeles Rams. One big reason is they lost Todd Gurley and replaced him with Cam Akers, who, yes, had a good college career at Florida State. But do I trust him week 1 going out there? And the Rams, he's got a lot to, I guess, fill in for coming in for Todd Gurley. And I think their wide receivers will really have to step up. Jared Goff's just going to have to step up because he had a terrible season last year. But guys like Cooper Kupp.
Our boy. That's literally our boy.
He's the only one I can think of right now. They're going to really need a big I think they need to make a trade, something for a running back to complete that offense. I don't think a guy like Cam Akers is what they need.
Yeah, I mean, it's look, a couple years ago they had Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson. Now you have Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers. It's not the same thing. Really not the same thing at all, especially when Gurley was picked 10th overall in the first round. But so yeah, I'm gonna go into my winners and losers. I think I'm gonna include a sleeper as well, like my sleeper pick for that, just for that matter. My winner is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. It's a safe pick, but it's true. Like the Baltimore Ravens always have a great draft, and this time they really hit it out of the park. They picked Patrick Queen late in the first round. The last time they had this late of a first-round pick was 32nd overall, and they took Lamar Jackson. So I think I'm very superstitious with it, but I think Patrick Queen is going to do very well in Baltimore, have that Ray Lewis kind of mentality. Picked really low in the first round and just pops off. Look, and also in the second round, you got J.K. Dobbins, who is out of Ohio State. Like Cam said, you determine your draft off your first 2 picks, even in the first 2 rounds. Dobbins, very big power runner. I saw him play in Glendale when I went to the Fiesta Bowl. So good. And he may not have been the best player to wear number 2 for Ohio State, but he's still pretty damn good. But my loser is going to have to probably be the New York Giants. Look, they suck at drafting. They lost again. I mean, they lost when they picked Daniel Jones. Like, who picks Daniel Jones at 6 overall? I mean, I may be saying this, and he could turn out to be a Hall of Famer, but I could be sitting here, and he could be a total bust, which is probably expected. So I'm going to go with the Giants. I mean, you had so many other offensive tackles that could have been picked in front of you. There was that guy from Iowa. If one of you guys have his name, say it to me.
Oh, Tristan Wirfs.
Yes, Tristan Wirfs. He was – what?
Is that like the 6'7", 400-pound dude?
Yes.
No, that's Mekhi Becton. He was also good. He went to the Jets. Same with Dedrick Wills Jr.
Right.
3 guys that should have been above Thomas. But.
Exactly. And look, and I honestly, I would have gone with Becton or Wirfs. I just knowing how well the Patriots did with Trent Brown, with how big he was, they could have had a guy like Becton easily protect Daniel Jones, get the ball out of the hands quickly. Nick said it before. They didn't draft a wide receiver. They did not draft a wide receiver at all. I mean, Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, and Golden Tate, they're good and all, but they're not the guys that you hear about all the time. And I think that's what New York really needed, whether it be like in the later picks or something like that. But the Giants lose again, plain and simple. So, but yeah, that's mostly everything for the NFL. We're gonna dive right into the MLB, and I've been scrolling around Twitter lately, guys, and I saw this thing from Trevor Plouffe, who was a former pitcher, and he pitched for Twins mostly in his career. He said spring training part 2 is going to come around June 15th or something like that. They get 2 to 3 weeks of the technical spring training in, because June 15th is still the spring. And then July 1st is going to be the new opening day. It's probably going to be about a 90-game season, something like that. But I just want y'all's opinions. What do you think? What do you guys think is going to happen with the MLB?
Who wants to go first? Eli, go.
Do I think this rumor or this tweet is real? No. Would I like it to be real? Yes.
I love it to be real.
I do think MLB might suffer a lot with them not having already started. And I'm a little worried about MLB this season, and I think they will bring it back. And I'm hoping August is that month. That would be fantastic. But I don't know. I'm very pessimistic about sports coming back in general. And I'm just not really seeing it happen, especially living in a city like Los Angeles where there are very strict rules going on, and they seem to be very strict about all sports teams. Right. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, I think that one thing about baseball that's so different is, the whole thing that baseball, the players aren't as marketable. You know how like the MLB had that whole thing, it was like a decade ago or a couple, where it didn't allow its players to market themselves like the NFL does or the NBA does. Yeah. And a big issue with that is teams really get their revenue off. We have home games. We have loyal fans. You talk about it, Eli. You talk about you're in a city where it's, you bleed blue. It's Dodger blue. And I think they're just going to struggle with whatever comes their way. I've heard about playing games in Arizona because they have the spring training fields, and then, of course, the Chase Field, the D-back stadium. I mean, then you got to quarantine the guys for months without even seeing their families because they have to stay in one secluded spot. I'm very pessimistic about baseball starting because I think that a 90-game season without any fans and all that, think about it. People show up to spring training games.
Yeah.
So now you're going to take away the fans from that. I feel like people will watch the games, and I don't know, this just might be my opinion. I like baseball games when I go.
Right.
I love watching on TV, but I think the best sport to watch live is baseball. You could disagree with me, but I like basketball and football on TV. I just think baseball is going to suffer a lot from this, especially because the NFL and the NBA are going to trump that league when when the later months come. You talk about the NBA not starting up or ending early because the NFL has to start. What about the MLB? It's the third highest grossing sport. It's not going to be able to get the views it needs to keep its revenue up.
True.
And one point I'd just like to add is when you think about baseball is a summer sport. You can't just push it back and just miss out on the summer. I mean, you think of like the traditional like American summer, playing catch, going to the ballpark, hitting some balls. Like you don't get that if you start the season in September. I don't want to see baseball being played in December, January, February. Imagine like the teams like a New York or like a Boston. Like it's going to be cold there, and I don't think baseball could really be played in that weather.
That is true. Nick, what you got?
I mean, I am worried about the MLB starting for a couple of reasons. One, we are mid NBA and NHL season. I think when the commissioners discuss with one another, they're going to be like, all right, I think it's more important to finish a league that is already basically in the playoffs or about to start the playoffs. We need a champion for this. And I think it's less important to start a league that hasn't even been started yet. We don't know how good teams are, how bad teams are, what's exactly going to happen. But the one upside I have is they have briefly discussed dividing teams based on their locations. So like an East, Central, and West division with 10 in each division. So like the Red Sox and Yankees and Mets would all be in the same division and playing certain neutral locations. The one thing that gives me hope is they get going with spring training, no fans, get going by, you said July 1st, you said opening day for a 90.
Opening day would be July 1st, yeah.
Look at the NFL draft ratings without fans. They broke records. So, and ESPN just did a survey the other day that fans would rather watch games from home than wait until fans are allowed to go back to the stadium. So I think if they get the MLB going in a safe way, test players that are not feeling too well, ignore the players that don't have symptoms until they get symptoms. Then you test them. Test the players that are having symptoms right now. And once you're all good and healthy to play, you play and you broadcast the games and people are going to watch. And that could help the MLB. That could help the TV networks to gain revenue. And it could get us 90, 100 games before the postseason.
That is very true. I mean, the way I think about it with the MLB, there are so many variables that go into Major League Baseball, not just baseball, but Major League Baseball in general. You got to think about the minor leagues too. I think this plan is a do or die plan. Whether if it goes through, it goes through. Great, awesome. We got baseball. Thank God. If they don't, this season is going to be a dumpster fire, and it will be done. There will be no baseball in the start of the new decade. And I think there are a lot of things that go into it. Major League Baseball is the only sport out of the 4 major North American sport leagues that does not have a salary cap. And when you focus on not having a salary cap, you focus on the player on that fan revenue. Like teams get money off fans showing up to the ballpark and stuff like that. Like that's huge. That's huge. So if that's not going to work, and if there are fans without, or if there's no fan baseball, we could see resurgence of Moneyball going in 2021, 2022. I mean, look, we saw at the start of the decade, the A's won 103 games with small money baseball. I mean, I think if all of this goes into perspective and there's no fans, there's going to be that extra variable that starts off a new decade. And there's Globe Life Park, like the new Rangers Stadium that's not being used right now, and it's complete. It's ready to go, and nothing is going on in it. Like nothing is happening in the new stadiums that we're getting. It's just there's so much that goes into baseball, and it just blows my mind that we may not have a season, and it blows my mind even more that like Cam and Nick, they may lose their opportunity on having their season. Look, I mean, they're part of the San Diego League. Cam's the voice of the San Diego League. Nick's the graphic designer of the San Diego League. That may never happen. That opportunity may not be able to happen if all this goes on. And look, playing sports right now is a risk, but the new season proposal that was leaked by Trevor Plouffe is also a risk because it's do or die. But I mean that's my opinion. It could be different with you guys, but Just to poke some fun, I guess. Right now, we're gonna pick the late night peelers, which is the LNP dream team right now, of the entire our starting 9 basically for the current Major League Baseball players and season coming up and all that. So Eli, I gave you the honor of picking the infield. Who's your infield?
Such an honor to select the infield, although I was never an infielder during my playing days. Much respect to those. And for this list, or for my starting 4 in the midfield, I wanted to go with the most balanced lineup offensively and the best fielders I could find combined. So first base, I'm going Freddie Freeman. Atlanta Braves were the best team in the NL East last season. Freddie Freeman also won the Silver Slugger. I think that was an obvious choice there. Second base,
Nick is not happy.
I'm not that much.
Yeah. Either way, Braves did win the division last year. I'm sorry, man.
They did.
Second baseman, I went with DJ LeMahieu. He has been a very consistent hitter in terms of batting average for the last 4 or 5 seasons now. He is on the Yankees, which is a negative in my opinion. But, I got to respect game. I put DJ LeMahieu. At shortstop, I got Francisco Lindor of the Cleveland Indians. He's been excellent for the Indians the past few seasons. I believe he won the Gold Glove last year.
No, you're right.
Yes, he did. He did win the Gold Glove, and he has won the Silver Slugger before.
He has before. I think Bogarts was the Silver Slugger last year for shortstop.
But Lindor did win the previous 2 seasons. I have it in front of me now. So that's that. But then third baseman's the one I really want to talk about because a lot of people might have Rendon, and a lot of people might have Bregman. But come on.
Hot take incoming.
Nolan Arenado is the best third baseman in baseball, and I also think he is the best fielder in baseball. He has won 7 straight Golden Glove awards. He's won 4 of the last 5 Silver Slugger awards. Anthony Rendon has nothing on that. Alex Bregman's a cheater, so I'm going Nolan Arenado.
I mean, you're not wrong. Let's go into the 7, 8, 9 of it. We just had 3, 4, 5, and 6. Cam, you're 7, 8, 9. Who you got?
Can you see that? Or is this backwards?
That's
it good? Okay, because it's an all LA outfield, and if you have a problem with it, you could have a problem with Cody Bellinger, but I don't know why. He was your NL MVP. I mean, you got to start with Cody Bellinger. Dude is insane. Hit 47 home runs, 115 RBIs just a season ago, and it's only his 3rd season in the majors. Are you kidding me? This dude went from Rookie of the Year to NL MVP, and although a lot of people might say, oh, well, he's just a home run hitter, he swings for the fences, he makes that team better, and I think the Dodgers are one of the best teams in baseball. No one can dispute that. And why not keep it in the Dodgers outfield? Their new signing, Mookie Betts. I mean, this dude could be, because he won the MVP a couple of years ago.
Yeah, in 2018.
He could be one of 2 of the best players in baseball. I think it goes Trout and then Betts. I mean, you can argue the order or whatever, but I don't think you can argue 1 and 2. Betts hit 29 homers last season. He didn't have the greatest season of all time. He took a little bit of a back step, but it didn't. I don't think it matters. I don't think you can have one okay season and you just bump him out. Now he's going into a Dodgers organization that really just makes players better. Right. So I think Mookie Betts is going to have an unreal season when the MLB comes back. He has to be in your starting outfield. And last but not least, is anyone surprised? I mean, this guy, Mike Trout, he is one of – I think he's the only number 1 player in sports that no one talks about.
Right. No, he's not.
In baseball, did anyone know that Mike Trout had his highest home run hitting season last year?
No.
People probably didn't know.
Los Angeles Angels.
Exactly. But this is a guy that you should not – I'm not saying he slept on because he's not slept on at all. He's the best player in baseball. But no one really talks about him that much. And it goes back to, with baseball players and how they don't really endorse themselves.
Right.
But Mike Trout has been the best player in baseball, maybe even to ever play this game. A lot of people have argued that for years. And if you don't have him in your outfield, I said Betts, maybe, or Bellinger, maybe you can argue it. You cannot tell me Mike Trout isn't in your best outfield.
Right.
And those are my three, all LA group.
Hey, man, why not? Why not? So right now we got Nolan Arenado at third, Francisco Lindor at short, DJ LeMahieu at second, and at first is Freddie Freeman. Left field, you got Cody Bellinger. Center fielder, you got Mike Trout, the guy that no one talks about, even though he's a for sure Hall of Famer. And in right field, you got the newly acquired Los Angeles Dodger, Mookie Betts. So, Nick, I got to ask you, you know about some pitching in Flushing, New York.
I know about starting pitching. I wouldn't get to the bullpen. That's
the starting pitching. Starting pitching. My bad. So, your starting rotation for the late night Peel Dream Team.
Well, with a combined record of 72-29 last season, number one, back-to-back Cy Young winner, Jacob deGrom.
Come on.
I mean, I had to put him on.
Go Mets, go. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. That was the Cubs theme song. Moving
to the other New York team, Garrett Cole. He just got his bag this winter. He got his bag with the Yankees.
Bag.
He went 20-5 last season. Just an unbelievable season. Under 3 ERA. God level. Number 3 in the rotation, we got the man with different colored eyes, Max Scherzer.
Bad Max.
He's been as Stephen A. Smith would say, a bad man late in the last 5 years. Bad man. He's been the key of that. I don't talk about Strasburg because I think Strasburg is an overrated pitcher. Scherzer's been the essential part of that starting rotation for the Washington Nationals. And then 4 and 5, we got the Dodger boys. As much as they might choke in the playoffs, you can't underestimate their greatness in the regular season. Clayton Kershaw and Walker Buehler. I mean, those guys are they're incredible in the regular season. I don't know what happens when October turns. Maybe they get a little chilly. They just have to get their arm warmed up, giving up a couple homers in the first inning. But for a regular season, I can't see that team losing a single game.
I like that. So in the starting rotation, opening day, you got Jacob deGrom, Garrett Cole's right after, Max Scherzer, Clayton Kershaw, and Walker Buehler. That's a pretty good rotation right there, Nick, I got to say. So that leaves for me the catchers and the closer and the designated hitter. So I'll take those 3. Hey man, it is an exceptional honor to pick this. So my catcher is going to be Yadier Molina. I mean, why not? He's the most clutch player in baseball. It was said. I mean, it's confirmed. Everyone knows it's Yadi. He has the strongest arm in baseball. He's basically an all reliable. I mean, he's been around with the Cardinals since I believe 2007, something like that. A year before they. Yeah. What's up, Nick?
Yeah, he also leads the league in tattoos. If you didn't know that.
Probably. Yeah. But yeah, no. Yadi's pure gold. Like I said, most reliable catcher in baseball. I mean, why not? So, but for closers, a closer is a very slim area in Major League Baseball right now. It's the relievers. It's an air.
please say Kirby Yates.
I'm
Give
not
the Padres something.
I'm not saying Kirby Yates. Come on, Kirby Yates is good, but you cannot go against Josh Hader. I mean, come on now. You can't go against him. I mean, all time I'd say Mariano Rivera, and he'd be followed by Trevor Hoffman, who was a former Brewer and who was a former Padre. But right now it's got to be Hader. I mean, he won reliever of the year last year, who was named after Trevor Hoffman in the National League. I mean, look, he has a 2.62 ERA, he has 37 saves, and that's it. That's all in 75 innings. I mean, I'd find that to be pretty good. This is the peak of the Brewers rotation. I think this is the peak of the entire Brewers team. He's joined alongside Christian Yelich, who's I'd say a sleeper. He's probably like that, our pinch hitter in our LNP dream team. But that's my closer. My designated hitter is going. I have to get a Red Sox in here. It's going to be JD Martinez. He's not going to be around for long in Boston that much longer, but he's still hitting bombs. I mean, when the MVP season that Mookie had, he was right around. JD Martinez was right around with the home runs and the RBIs, the on-base percentage. He's still a reliable guy. Is he reliable in the field? Hell no. It is so scared watching him play in the outfield. But when he hits bombs over to Green Monster, I'm content. So I'm going to go with JD Martinez for our designated hitter. I'm sorry. I know you guys aren't National League guys, but the American League is what it's all about. And you got to get the DH in there. It's just a more powerful group. But yeah, that's all we got for the MLB. I think
one thing about the MLB before we move on.
Yes.
No, it's technically May 8th, but May 7th will go down as the greatest day in baseball history. Cam, I'm looking at you saying this. Bartolo Colon, his first career home run in Petco Park. Give it up for Bartolo.
There's ballpark too, man.
Yeah, dude, that was literally that. You know the hit it here sign. He basically hit it there. He almost hit that target on the Western Metal Supply Company building.
It was the most incredible moment I've ever seen as a Mets
That's
fan.
the most press the Padres have ever gotten in their existence.
Yeah.
Bartolo Colon hit the home run. Oh.
I think the only good thing about the Padres right now is that they went back to brown and yellow, that retro, the 70s, right?
It doesn't even matter. I mean, what are we gonna pay that glass $400 million to hit an average clip? We brought back Chase Headley,
like 200 of it. So
we brought back Chase Headley to hit .071 and send him back to AAA. And he was in our starting rotation for about 15 or 16 games straight. I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, he was a starter for us.
We knocked it out of the park with the MLB. I like our dream team. I would take that. You got that one. It's what hosts do. It's what we do. But no. In the NBA, let's go over to the hardwood. As we all know, the season's not back, and there have been a lot of players who've come out and said that I'd rather play without fans. But there are some that say like LeBron, we kind of need the fans. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong. Cam, you too, diehard Lakers fans, but it's not here. And I want to start off with you guys because the Clippers and the Lakers are 1-2 in the West. Guys, what should Adam Silver, the alien himself, do?
Just start the NBA Finals with the top two teams in each conference.
Oh, hell no. Oh wait, top two teams in each conference, like
the top team in the Western Conference and the top team in the
oh
Eastern.
hell no. This is our season, man. But no. Well, I know LeBron says they need the fans to play. Knowing Clipper history, we don't really need the fans to play.
First of all, LeBron retracted that message. He said, I would want to play in front of fans, but I understand safety goes above that. And right now, he just wants to play. So he did retract that after first saying it when they did have fans.
But I like the Orlando idea, having them play at Disney World. I think the NBA season absolutely needs to happen because this is a crucial year in the NBA as the Warriors dynasty kind of ended, but it might be back. But we don't know what the next dominant team in the league is. And I'm going to tell you now, whoever wins the NBA Finals this year will kind of set the tone for the rest of the league for the next 3-4 years. I think even if the Clippers lose, I think whoever wins the NBA championship this year will be the dynasty of the next few years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this has been a very historic year in the NBA. It's been very fun, too. There have been a lot of teams that are winning, a lot of high-scoring games. It's everything you want and more, honestly. Kawhi has thrived in LA. Anthony Davis has popped off in LA as well. I mean, this was a great opportunity for the NBA. And it's unfortunate that all this went down right after Kobe died because the one thing that he'd want is the game to be played. And that's something that stands out to me. It's just it's unfortunate that Kobe Bryant is not with us. But I'm thankful that he never had to experience something like this because that would just be rough, that's something. This is something we just don't need at all. Like I said, I think this has been the best NBA season, 100%, no doubt in my mind. The winner, I'd say the winner is unpredictable. I mean, you got so many good teams, and not just the West, but in the East as well. A lot of sleeper teams. This was a great opportunity for anyone, and I think when the NBA comes back. You play the last 10 games of the season, and you go right into the playoffs. Like, how many games were there left? Was it
19?
19. Take away 9 of those games. Just get it out of the way. Find those. I mean, it's close. The final spots in the playoffs are close, and anything can happen. But we want to see the playoffs. That's what we want to see. That's where you get the viewers. You're not going to get them on just watching it on your local network. Everyone's going to be tuned in on ESPN and ABC. That's what they want to see. You get right to the playoffs, and you go from there. That's my opinion. But I think the one thing that's uniting all of us together during these times is The Last Dance, which is the documentary going on about Michael Jordan and the team of the 90s, Chicago Bulls. I mean, that if there was a team in the 90s, this is the team of the 90s. I know everyone talks about the Atlanta Braves being the team of the 90s. Hell no. They only won 1 title. The Bulls won 6, and they did a three-peat twice. So, look, I love The Last Dance. This is my favorite documentary I've ever watched. Like, my favorite has always been Survive and Advance and LA to Marino. This is the new one. Guys, please agree with me, because this is it. Like, I didn't have the TV at 9 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. I wanted to kill my mother. Like, I was so upset. But thank God for the West. Thank God for the West, because I was able to watch it at midnight.
Trey, I completely agree with you. I think that one thing that The Last Dance is doing is steering all of us away from thinking that the NBA is screwed.
Right.
And for the basketball nerds and everyone that just loves basketball, we all know the NBA is screwed. It's not just about the fact that this was one of the best seasons and it was so unpredictable and it ended early and we don't know if we're going to get a champion. But for seasons to come, scheduling, salary cap, contracts, I don't think that people realize that Giannis's contract is about to come up. Anthony Davis, he's done after this year. He might resign with the Lakers. We don't know what he's going to do. Obviously, the rookies are still getting into it. Zion Williamson just coming back. But the salary cap, that took the biggest hit. Trey, you mentioned it earlier with the MLB. You don't got to worry about that. No. The NBA has a strict salary cap. Everyone eclipses the salary cap, but then they pay that luxury tax. Now you're getting to a point where teams are losing money. The NBA is losing money, and now the players are going to lose money. And as much as I don't want to say that money drives the NBA, money drives the NBA. Steph Curry, LeBron James, they're not going to play the game if they're getting paid too. They'll play it, but they're not going to be happy that they're going to be paid under what they deserve.
Right.
And it's sad to see, but I'm glad that The Last Dance is really covering that up in a way, letting the NBA, the Players Association, just the administration or all the organizations, just Adam Silver and everyone who makes those decisions, allowing them to just like not have to worry about complaints here, complaints there. I think it was great to release The Last Dance early, and I wasn't someone to watch a lot of old tapes. I love it. I didn't know about Dennis Rodman and all these things that happened with him. I didn't know where Scottie Pippen went to college. Where he went to college in that like little Arkansas, whatever it was, Central Arkansas.
Who knew Carmen Electra was that attractive? Like, holy cow.
I love The Last Dance because it doesn't just show that last season and Michael Jordan. It shows the whole dynasty. I love it.
That's true. I think that I love that too. Eli, Nick, when do y'all go? It doesn't matter to me.
Oh, I love especially the kind of passing of the torch from the Larry Bird and Magic era to MJ. I like how they touched on that. I love the Olympic team that they discussed.
God, yes.
So cool. That scrimmage that they told us about, where MJ just totally demolished Barkley and Magic at the end. Like, that was so sick. And also, I love the Bad Boy Pistons. Anytime the Bad Boy Pistons get brought up, I get excited just because they're the Bad Boy Pistons. No one likes them, but like we all want to hear about them. We all want to hear the next move. And wow, I mean, the way they just walked off the court like that after they basically passed the torch on to the Bulls, that was insane. And oh my God.
Nick, what about you, brother?
I got a couple of things. I mean, one, it shows that basketball is just more than a game. And I'm talking right at Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas. They hate each other's guts to this day. They're never going to be friends. They're never going to like each other. I don't care what bonding activities they do. They will always hate each other because of one simple game, a ball and 2 hoops. And these men hate each other to death. And I just love that they hid all this footage for so long, 20 years. They probably had so many cameramen recording all of these events, these backscene stuff, the little security guard, this little security guard. And nobody knew what they were filming for at the time. And now whoever's here to watch it from then, they're just amazed. And also, Jerry Krause, rest in peace, but it's probably a good thing you're not around anymore, because if you had Twitter or Instagram, you would want to delete it immediately. I remember that first weekend, he was tweeted on Twitter. But going back to today's NBA real quick, I have been doing a lot of reading with the NBA draft and such, and it's going to be a whole impact because the NBA draft lottery is such a big part of 14 teams preparing for their future. And they can't decide the lottery until the regular season is technically over. And there's players in college who aren't going to get a combine, most likely. They're going to have to meet with teams virtually instead of in person, get that feeling. For example, say the Lakers were a lottery team. A college player comes in, he sees 16 NBA trophies on the – yeah, I'm not talking about the Clippers because they don't have any of those. They see 16 NBA trophies. It's such a better feeling when you're in person. You have that atmosphere, that experience. And instead of just doing like a Zoom chat with a scout, it's not the same thing. And it's going to be totally different. NBA teams really can't look at these prospects the same way that they would in the past. So I obviously want the NBA back. I think it will come back. How many regular season games will they play? I'm not sure. But the playoffs are going to be something special this year.
Yeah, I think this is – The Last Dance is the perfect thing that ESPN has done. Like, this was supposed to be played around this time. Episode 1 was supposed to be played, I believe, this Sunday, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But June?
The original date was like June something.
June 2nd was going to be I think it's June 2nd was going to be the first release date.
This is why you work ahead, gentlemen. It was ready well before that, so they played it, and I think this is one of the best moves ESPN has done. Look, I think The Last Dance is so great because it's showing all these people that think LeBron is the GOAT, that Jordan really is the guy. Look, he may be literal butthead. That's what people think. I don't think Jordan's a butthead. I think the way he acted, I think he deserves to act that way. Like, I remember Jordan came out and said, like, y'all are gonna hate me when this is all said and done. But I like the different perspectives that The Last Dance is taking. Like, they go to 1998. They have the Bulls have the dopest road uniforms in the face of the NBA. And then the way that they're able to take it back to a different time and connect it with those 2 different years, it's unbelievable. Like, they've gone back from 98 to 84 up to 92, all these different years. It's crazy. And just seeing all these people that don't like Michael Jordan is amazing. Like, look, Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan still have beef. Patrick Ewing, I think, is someone that stands out to me who has beef with Michael Jordan because, look, their beef has gone back to 1982. 82 is when North Carolina took on Georgetown in the NCAA championship in the Superdome, where Syracuse won their first one. The beef has been there for literally almost 40 years, and he still hasn't gotten over it. That is unbelievable. And knowing that everyone's able to put that into perspective and have it all connect is crazy. And, like, I think the thing that stands out to me is that everyone is just mind blown after they watch it. Twitter's exploding. It's just, this is what we need. And it feels like there's a season going on with The Last Dance happening. It feels like none of us were alive for this. It literally feels like I was alive for this. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember watching that. Even though I was like, oh yeah, I wasn't even alive yet. Like, everything just, oh man. I could go on.
This thing is, I don't know if any producers from the documentary be watching this, but the amount of hard work those ESPN people put in to this stuff, it gets overlooked. Now you have the credits at the end, but I'll be honest, when the credits come on, I get up to make my PB&J before the next does. And they deserve so much for making something this amazing.
That's true. And I'm glad that they're able to do something like that. Like some producers, they don't get the chance to cover things. Like right now, they don't get the chance to cover things. Like I got screwed over. I didn't get to cover SU's men's lacrosse team. That was going to win a national championship for OPP. Just didn't happen. These guys put in the work. It's been there since 1998, and they're getting all this footage now. Like this is, oh man, I can watch this over and over and over again. And knowing that they're about to make one about Kobe too, and knowing that they did one about Dwayne Wade. Nick, we watched that one together, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like I mean, look. Come on, this is documentary heaven. I mean, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire is coming up. Everything is
a holiday.
Yeah, literally. Like every sports may not be here, but it's still here when you get to talk about things like these documentaries. Be like, oh yeah, I remember when this happened and stuff. It's crazy. And
I know. I said I had one more thing, but I actually got one more thing.
Come on, bring it to me, man. It's a podcast. We chat.
In absence of the real life sports, this is just my opinion. The video game tournaments have been god awful.
The horse competition.
I do not care about that.
The horse one looked so realistic. It was insane. I thought those were real horses out there, and they were not. So that was crazy. But I thought of that because I saw an ad that PGA Tour 21's coming out, and I mean, Nick Salai might be the next 99 overall golfer. I mean, I am ready for video games. But, yeah, that's my video game.
No, I have a question.
Hopefully we have an answer.
For The Last Dance. What do you guys think have been the best memes so far out of The Last Dance? Because I have my pick, and it's a sleeper pick, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Oh, the ones where like Michael Jordan, it's like the first one. He's like turning around, he says something like that. He's like yeah, like something like that. I think that's my favorite because that's something we saw from the start. The original ones are where they at. Like there's a reason I say gamer all the time because it's original. You bring it back. You keep it around. You have the Michael Jordan one in there. You keep it around. Why the hell not?
I'm gonna go with wait, Eli. Can I pick mine before you go?
Yes, I'm gonna pull up mine.
I want Eli to go last.
I think it's easy. I think it's me in every one of my classes trying to study for a test. Dennis Rodman, you go here, then here, then you go like here, then you push here, then you take this, and then you go here. Yeah, I mean, you can use that for like he was trying to describe like rebounding the ball, and I was like, Dennis,
it doesn't make sense, but it kind of does.
No, but Dennis, stop.
Yeah.
Like you went to during the season, you went to a casino, and then like Dennis.
And dated Carmen Electra. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Right, Nick has officially run away.
I need something. I need a prop.
I do think Nick needs to hear mine because I think he would get it the most out of you guys. So
okay. Go ahead. Nick is waiting.
Yeah.
For those that are doing the audio, the security guard with the quarter cornhole thing. That
there's like hit it close to the wall or something. Yeah. You get 4 tries. Yeah.
Weird. Like
that was funny.
Eli, what do you got?
Right. So mine is less about the actual story of the Bulls and more about someone who got interviewed. And it's not Obama because there was a lot of memes about Obama being called a former Chicago resident and not.
Yeah.
But no. Nick, you're a big 2K guy. You would understand.
Yeah, I mean,
so one of the broadcasters.
I know where this is going.
One of the broadcasters in 2K, very famous broadcaster, David Aldridge, who is the sideline reporter in 2K, he is very well known in 2K for being the guy you skip over to get to the next play.
Right.
Every time they do an interview. So there's a meme right here. and it's of David Aldridge, who's been featured in The Last Dance a lot. And it says, David Aldridge is coming up with his own documentary. It's called The Last Tremendous Athleticism. Thanks, DA. Everyone's skipping.
I like that.
I love it.
Dude, I hardly even play 2K, and I know about this.
Love it.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, hey, this was great. I mean, we've talked about this for a while. We wanted to do something virtual, and look, this is one of the first of many summertime episodes that we got. So, but yeah. What'd you say?
Zoom should sponsor us.
They sponsor us. You know, like Nick pulled out all these fake sponsors, and like I think Zoom should actually sponsor us. You know what I mean?
Body Armor didn't work out, so.
You know, Nick's a huge Body Armor guy, but hey, we're all huge late night fuel guys. That's gonna do it for this edition. We will be back next week for episode number 2. As usual, every Fridays from now on. I mean, why not? Recap the end of the week. Go into the next week. Recap the end of the week. It's a lifestyle. So, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. For Eli Lesser, Cam Azir, our new host, and as always, my guy, Nick Celaya, and myself, Trey Redfield, we can't thank you guys enough for the support. Like, comment, subscribe, or listen again, because, you know, we got Spotify too. But yeah, can't thank you guys enough for the support, and we will catch y'all on the flip side.
Peace out.